The other one was about to.
You were like, thank God I can only hear these fools through one ear now.
Nice.
Especially when he says especially when I put out a tweet that says the Twins are gonna have our fan base looking forward to the Vikings by June 1st.
Did you see my response?
Well, of course, I say that, but then I go and pick them to finish second in the division. I'm like, yeah, that makes no sense. The Pirates will win more games than the Twins.
Dear Lord, God help us all. No offense, Frog.
Just wait till you find a street and open up.
He don't care. Baseball's dead, remember?
It is.
Am I gonna have to listen to this all baseball season?
Every year until they get rid of the DH.
Well, are you actually kidding? Like, are you actually serious?
I am. The DH is an abomination.
So is Joe Biden, but the country still elected him.
No, they
We
didn't.
think they did, but you know.
Now put it all together and let it take you someplace.
Old Sleepy Joe.
In fact, what did you think of that Supreme Court overturn of the gerrymandering in Wisconsin? That was quite interesting.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, old Mark Zuckerberg's cronies apparently got their hands in the cookie jar a little bit in that election night stuff. Got a little bit too nosy in. Influenced some of the counts.
Gotcha. I'm streaming, by the way.
Sweet.
It's a stream of streams to stream it all streamy. Oh gosh, where do I want to put this?
Do we want to do our draft this evening?
No.
I could, but it's up to Frog, yeah.
Oh. Well, Frog said no, so.
Alright.
We'll
have it.
have
Tomorrow it shall
time
be.
tomorrow, 'cause, like, I'm gonna get up about the same time as I normally do, roughly. Hopefully.
He thinks we know when that is.
Well, take it a couple hours for me to fall asleep, and then extrapolate out like 6 to 7 hours, and then add a couple for morning routine, and there you go.
Wouldn't it be easier just to say, I wake up at this time?
Nah. That's too simple.
Now when you have a day
That
off,
wouldn't
come
make
on.
sense. It's not. You're not allowed to make sense in today's world. I thought you knew that.
So, I have a scary proposition for you both.
No.
If your two choices for the president in the next election were a second term by Biden or Fred Manfred, who would you choose?
He must move to Canada, I think.
You know, I should have asked that too. I should have asked that to Amos. Because I know he's a big fan of Manfred.
So what was the question?
I said if your choices for the president in the next election were a second term by Sleepy Joe or Fred Manfred, who would you choose?
Yeah, Rob Manfred, yep.
Or Manfred, yeah, Rob Manfred.
I would choose Revolution.
Say you want a revolution.
Vicious, turning the momentum to his favor. That's a sign he's got his opponent figured out. Oh, come on. Why would you stoop that low?
Are you ready for some WrestleMania?
Quick thinking,
Any
Right.
big changes that you've noticed, Amish? To, like, the actual game?
Other than the haptic feedback, I would say, yeah, there's nothing really so far.
So, like, no new cars in traffic, that kind of thing?
No, I've noticed anything like that yet.
Oh, costly error there.
Was the bucket truck in here before?
Haymaker.
Bucket truck,
And misses on the
You know, like the utility truck with the bucket on the arm?
hand connects. Look at this, going right after the left arm. Gotta hurt.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember seeing these utility trucks before.
Yeah?
Being carried around.
So I bought GTA back when Sham did his 24-hour stream. Played it once, got frustrated by the controls, and never played it again.
But you
I
did
wonder
create an
why.
online character, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, cool.
Actually, no, I don't know. Yeah, I must have.
How in the world do you get frustrated by the simple controls of GTA?
I just did.
I don't understand that one.
Because GTA was what they play. GTA was what they played overnight. Because I was one of the only people that stayed up with him for the entire 24 hours. Oh my god, I felt... My mom saw me that next morning. I was like, she thought I was on drugs.
Oh no.
Because my eyes were like completely bloodshot.
Did you tell her, no, I'm on something better. It's called video games.
Exactly. But that was fun staying up with him.
That was a cool stream.
I miss him streaming.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I mean, I understand why he's not. I remember me and Amos were talking about this. I remember him saying, "Oh, I'm still going to stream even after the baby's born."
So much for that, yeah.
Well, as I recall, too, when he was streaming every morning like that, he was just in school. He didn't have a regular job, too,
Yeah.
if I recall.
You need something, huh? One of your rides? Let me know. I'll bring it to you.
The S95.
I spit in the face of people that don't want to be cool. How you could always tell Carlito was respected in the WWE was for Ric Flair to agree to let him spit in his face.
Yeah.
Because you know he didn't just do that on his own. You know he had to probably run that by Rick beforehand.
You would think, right? Yeah.
Hey, do you mind if I spit this app on your face? By the way, Frog, did you see my list of the top 10 heels in wrestling?
Yeah,
What'd you think?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought there were a couple of missions and a couple odd choices, but that's any best.
I know you're not a Bobby the Heenan fan.
Well, no, he's a good heel of an. He's a good heel, whether you like him as an announcer or not. He's a good heel.
He's a heel.
Which, you know, if his job was to be a heel announcer, he did that. So
Ooh. But I want to watch that series. I want to watch every episode of that series, though.
I forget where the stupid car meet thing is.
They need to put a "don't do this at home" type thing on a game like GTA 2, like they do on wrestling. Don't try this at home.
But wrestling tells them don't try it anywhere. So, like, even if they work, even if they work in GTA, it's basically telling them don't. Or even if they work in wrestling, it's basically telling them not to do their job if they play it, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting question for both of you. Since all three of us had played sports games for years, which of the four major sports, and if you want, you can throw college into this if you want. Which, and this is not factoring in wrestling, just what would be considered actual sport. Which sport translates best to video games? I say baseball. This is not an MLB The Show versus Madden versus NBA Live discussion. This is... But I still say baseball.
Out of what four sports? You said you narrowed it down to four sports?
Yes.
Okay.
Baseball, basketball, football, hockey.
It's between football and baseball for me. Yeah, I'd probably lean baseball, actually.
Has translated the best two video games in the past or current?
All time. Today, like they say in WWE, then, now, forever.
A ruthless competitor will do anything to stay atop NXT and NXT UK.
The funny thing is, in the EA days, I would have said basketball. I used to love NBA Live back in the day.
NBA Jam.
NBA Live, I think is what it was. I would have to go with football, honestly.
You're gonna go football? Yeah. It's close for me between football and baseball.
And actually,
baseball games still don't feel like they go far enough into bringing the realities of the sport to the games.
Okay.
You don't have 3-team trades, you don't have player to be named later, you don't have like 7-pitch repertoires.
To be fair, I got a question for you though. How would you, from an AI logic standpoint, like, how would you do a player to be named later? Like, do you set, like, you would have to say you have to choose your player to be named later by the end of the season or by the end of the next off season, wouldn't you?
Well, however it works in real life is how you would do it.
Well, I've never been in a baseball front office, so I don't exactly know how it works in real life. I don't know what the time frame is to be named. Does anybody, now that I think about it, now that I'm saying it, does anybody know, is there an actual time frame when you trade for a player to be named later? Is an actual time frame that you have to...
It's determined in the trade, I believe.
Okay. I never really knew if there was a set time frame, like the Twins, if they made a trade with the Orioles today, and it was somebody, player X for player to be named later from the Orioles. Hey, Orioles, you remember 7 years ago when we made that trade? We're ready to take that player to be named. We'd like that player to be old-ass Adley Rutschman.
So yeah, official MLB website. When clubs consent to include a player to be named later in a trade, they agree to decide upon or announce the final player involved in that trade at a later date.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying, so what that's saying then is, they decide that they have to pick the player to be named later by a certain date.
So there can be players that would otherwise be required to first clear waivers included in the trade, provided they're not in the 25-man roster, now 28. Officially sending to their new club once waiver clearance is no longer mandatory for a trade. Other instances, the club sending it will provide the acquiring club with a list of players from which to select. And then you got that agreed upon deadline that I talked about, which the acquiring club must select that player to be named later. Okay, here's an example. July 2007, CC Sabathia gets traded from the Cleveland Indians to the Milwaukee Brewers. Cleveland receives first baseman Matt Laporta, left-hander Zach Jackson, right-hander Rob Bryson, and a player to be named later. The deal was supposed to be centered around Laporta, but the player to be named later, Michael Brantley, made a far greater big league impact than anyone else that the Indians had acquired.
Yeah, I was about to say, until you said Michael Brantley, I was about to say the Brewers definitely, even though they only had, did they only have Sabathia for half a year or a year and a half? Did he?
Yeah, just after the deadline. It was just after the deadline that they had him, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I know they had him for the half a year, but what I'm saying is, did they only have him for that half a year, or did he?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think the Yankees was signed the year.
That's right. They signed. Yep. Yeah, they only had, but even though they only had him for half a year,
yeah.
You still argue that the Brewers won that trade.
Yep. Yeah, because they got in the playoffs and
they got in the playoffs. Sabathia had one of the best second halves in baseball history. My God, he was unreal that season.
Yeah,
of course, he was pitching a lot of games against the Pirates, so that helped. Oh.
Beautiful arm wringer applied. Beautiful back. And look at her feeding off the WWE Universe's energy. Stomping away.
Okay, so that free car they gave us is a HAL car.
Okay.
The King 95 or whatever the numbers on it are.
What is a HAL car?
A car that you can upgrade at HAL's.
Like HAL's, like wolves?
No, like HAL's, like HAO.
I'm still trying to figure out how to do combos.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, you're trying to...
S95.
Hey, I'm still trying to figure out how to do combos, and you're still trying to figure out how to eat combos.
You don't eat combos.
Yes, you do. They are a great snack. We've had this discussion.
They really are. They truly are. Someday you will experience it.
No, it won't.
Joe Biden says you will. No, just kidding.
Not unless somebody says, here's $1 million if you try it, and then I might have to be like, oh, okay, let's try that. Otherwise, probably not. Oh, okay, this car already has HAL's upgrades on it.
I remember one time, right before the Orioles traded Machado, right? The lottery was like $350 million, and somebody asked me, and my dad told me I was crazy. They were like, somebody asked me, what would you do if you won the lottery? I said, I'd give the money to the Orioles. I'd give the money to the Orioles so they could sign Manny Machado, and they'd have no excuse. So when I told my dad that, when I said that, my dad was like, "You're nuts." I said the only thing I would require in return is season tickets for life.
That is firing your biggest shot, but leaving your another big move.
5'11". Oh, come on, in the tree.
I'd imagine no team's probably allowed to do that. Take money from an outside investor to, like, sign a player.
Nope. Got to be part of the actual team payroll.
Take another look at these wonderful women in action.
Like, Bill Gates couldn't go to the Twins and say, here, I want the Twins to have Aaron Judge. Here's the money to get him. Well, I understand you technically have to be part of the ownership group, but as I'm playing major conspiracy theory and I'm reaching here, I admit this.
A bankrolling theory, we'll call it.
Well, what would happen? I mean, what would stop, like, if you own the Twins, right?
Yeah.
And what would stop me from just depositing money into your quote-unquote account? So then you could take said money that I deposited in your account and use it to sign Aaron Judge.
Still goes on the payroll, on the docket.
Yeah, but
If it doesn't, it's illegal. Illegal employment.
it's okay. I'll give you $1. You make me part of the ownership group. Here's the $350 million. I realize it's not that simple.
Yeah, I was actually talking about the money itself.
I'm
Would
sure
be
everyone has been anticipating
considered
this one.
an illegal employment venture.
Tommaso Ciampa,
Because this
a competitor
got to be put on the payroll officially.
unleashes inner madman.
I mean, colleges do it. Boosters pay the player, and they're not.
Those dark, rage-filled corners of his mind, he becomes
Of course, when they get caught, they get busted, and they end up.
curious to see what Ciampa has in store for us tonight. And facing him, the Santos
No one will survive.
controversial superstars today. Escobar is obsessed with the legacy of Lucha Libre.
Who's this guy?
Create one on his own terms. No mask, all results. Escobar's as far as he's concerned, he doesn't need to wear a mask to properly honor his ancestors. Does the path
There we
to
go.
victory for Santos Escobar
6'10". That's what I'm talking about.
looking for an early pin. He hasn't done nearly enough to get the pin yet.
What are you talking about? 6'10"?
I need a power forward for the Santa Cruz Warriors.
Make Miley Cyrus.
Showing instant
Put her in the WNBA.
avoids that one. Strong right girl.
I will not be happy until they actually, like, I respect the fact that they are actually, like, the NBA games, giving the WNBA a platform in the game. But I hope at some point they give the women the same full-fledged franchise mode that they do for the men,
Sure.
with the off season and the draft and like being
Wait,
able
you
to.
mean they don't and they haven't been canceled? What's going on?
Well, no, I mean they give you a season mode, like you can play through a season.
That's not the same.
I know.
He's giving you all another chance to simply take it all.
So it's not equality, darn it, and then they need canceled for it. That's the way the world works now. They need canceled.
Cancel culture.
Why aren't they canceled? Something's wrong. Is the NBA above being canceled all of a sudden?
Yeah, because they're owned by China now.
Oh, and yes, you can't cancel China.
We get too many goods from there.
LeBron has said so. Only
Well,
China.
LeBron's one of them.
Right.
Take a good look at a real-life Titan, folks. That kick right on point.
How weird would that be if, like, he got, like, if he was wanted by China for, like, espionage or something? Be like, hey, yeah, we can extradite him. Here you go.
I'm still very curious to see what happens with this whole Brittany Griner situation.
The who? What?
Brittany Griner, she's that big behemoth women's basketball player that got arrested in Russia and detained for drug smuggling. She's facing drug smuggling charges now in Moscow.
And you say what you want, but like I said to you, I agree with Jalen Rose. If this was LeBron James or Joel Embiid or a well-known male basketball player, the national media would be all over the story.
The U.S. ambassador would be pounding at the Kremlin's door.
Mm-hmm. Oh, if it was a male player, they'd already be home. I guarantee it.
Oh, Putin might just say, "Hey,
you want it?
And lift some of these sanctions."
You want it? Come to war. I still don't know if I agree with the people that say that if Trump was in office, Russia doesn't invade Ukraine.
Well, I mean, the historical facts show that he is the only president in the 20th century or the 21st century, that Russia did not invade another country while he was president. Those are just straight facts.
Who did they invade when Obama and Clinton were in office?
And was not in the 21st century.
Oh.
Well, there was Chechnya is in there, Georgia was in there.
Under Bush, they invaded Georgia. Under Obama, they invaded Ukraine. And then under Biden, they invaded Ukraine again.
Before that, it was Chechnya, right?
This is the second time they've done it to Ukraine?
Yes.
Yeah,
Crimea was part of Ukraine before Russia seized it back under Obama.
Yep.
And that's the thing. He got away with it then. And he knew from his interactions with Trump that there was no way he was going to get away with it while Trump was in office. So as soon as Biden gets in there, what's he do? Invades Ukraine.
And who was Obama's vice president?
Biden.
Sleepy Joe.
And that's the thing. Under the Obama administration, he faced practically no penalties. I mean, I think they sanctioned him then, too. Maybe. I can't remember.
There were some.
But it was like, oh, this is unacceptable, and, that's... Well, like, Obama was like, here's the line in the sand, don't cross it, and Putin's like, yeah, I just jumped over it, what you gonna do? And he's like, well, I mean, you can cross that one, but not the next one, and, Putin's like, well, I'll just keep jumping over them until you make me stop, and he's like, and Obama was like, well, the international community will stop you.
Just as shocked as everyone else, Cole.
Who's Red? Red. Here you are.
Now would be a wise time to submit.
As far as that went, Ukraine's like, okay, that area doesn't mean that much to us. You can have it. Like, it's not that big a deal. But then, then they decide they want the whole freaking country, and Ukraine's like, no.
This is where beautiful roll up. No, he gets the shoulder up.
I like the new main menu for GTA. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
Join free mode, heists, what's new? Wait, that's kind of cool. Even shows you a discount window, like what's on sale. That's nice. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. Alright, let's see if this guy's got him.
Sleepy Joe.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whenever I hear somebody say Sleepy Joe, I always think about that image of Phil Jackson falling asleep at Kobe Bryant's memorial service. Did you ever see that picture?
Yeah.
Where it looks like at least it looks like he's asleep.
What was he doing? Just praying?